So, some really bad news about Disney. Feels as if we've talked about Disney and Marvel recently a lot. And it just keeps going downhill for Disney. I mean, if you haven't heard, Snow White is basically snowballing right now. I told you last week that they canceled their UK premiere because they were afraid of the backlash and protests with everything that they added a lot of wokeness into Snow White, and I'm not really gonna go into what they did. I've covered it. You can find it on YouTube what Rachel Ziegler did, but it's out. It's crazy what's going on, and at the same time, they're making changes to their U.S. premiere. I mean, they're scaling back because they're expecting protests not only for Rachel Ziegler but also for Gal Gadot, who's like anti-Palestine or Israeli, whatever her stance is. I think she's from Israel. So they're expecting some form of backlash because she's also been outspoken about certain things. So it's just this, I don't know, it's just this, it's like this storm, perfect storm in a negative way that they saw coming. It's not like they didn't see it coming. This has been, we've talked about this from the moment they announced they were going to do this movie, and then Rachel Ziegler decided to open her mouth and say whatever she said, and then we realized what they were doing to the CGI shittiness that they were trying to do, switching from actual, what's the actual term? Is it little people? Because you don't want to say dwarves. I don't, you know what I mean. But obviously, if you know Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, right? So they try to change that with CGI, and then it became this monstrosity that everybody saw. So there's been a lot, and then obviously with this heated kind of relationship between Gal Gadot and Rachel Ziegler, apparently they don't like each other. They don't like each other, and it's been apparent from the get-go. Apparently, not only obviously there's a huge age gap, but obviously their personalities, their characters, their beliefs, their political beliefs clash. So they've tried to look like this united front when they're doing their marketing, right? Whatever market they're go into, when they have TV spots or commercial, whatever it is, they've tried to show, but everybody has known behind the scenes that they don't like each other. So from a movie that had a budget of close to $300 million, right now they're projecting a $50 million opening weekend, which obviously is something they obviously do not want. They didn't plan for, but this is probably going to be the biggest box office flop for Disney. And you cannot say we did not talk about it. They knew this was coming. They should have scrapped this. They should have changed this. They should have delayed this. They should have done everything they needed to do. Because if you remember Little Mermaid came out a few years ago, and there was some friction from the fan base because they decided to go with Hailey Bailey, right? Who happened to be black. That was the issue, the apparent issue with that movie. Because she can sing. She's a pretty good singer. But the funny thing was, people watched it. People went to go see that movie because she's also a pretty good actor. And that movie did well. That movie globally did over $500 million. So people responded to her, not just from all the BS that was flowing around because of how she looks, because of the story too. So they ended up telling a good story. But this, with Snow White, I saw it coming. We all saw it coming. So I told you I will not go see it. I'm not going to tell you not to go see it if you're a fan of Snow White. It's going to be tough for Disney. It looks like Disney's really having, outside of Daredevil, they're having a really bad start to the year. Really is. And again, this is not something they did not see coming. They saw it coming. They should have done something. They should have pivoted in a different direction. Sometimes you can cancel. Kind of like what DC did with Batwoman or Batgirl, the Batgirl movie. Even though I think they were scared of what, even though they did a really gritty, from everything we heard about Batgirl, the movie, because Michael Keaton was also in that movie, is that movie was actually going to be pretty good. But they were so scared after The Flash bombed that they decided to scrap it. So that movie's actually done and completed. Hopefully one day somebody can leak it. You know, they're not afraid of being sued to oblivion. But anyway, so it's Snow White. I don't know. You know, I've said it. We've said it enough. This movie is going to be terrible, and they only have themselves to blame. But anyway, Snow White. I loved the cartoon growing up. You're ruining it for us, Disney. Anyway, I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.